The mop bucket squeaked across the polished gym floor, its echo bouncing off the walls of Titan Martial Arts Academy. The morning sun filtered through the glass panels, painting golden streaks across the mat where champions trained, and where, in just a few moments, a janitor's quiet life would collide with arrogance, pain, and redemption. His name was Ethan Cole, a single father who came before dawn to clean the sweat and dust left behind by others chasing dreams he could no longer afford. Ethan's shoulders ached from hours of work, his hands cracked from bleach and detergent, yet his movements carried a strange precision, a rhythm that didn't match the shuffling weariness of an average custodian. He was cleaning under a rack of punching bags when laughter broke out near the mats. The morning class had started early, and a group of martial arts students were joking as they watched their instructor, a tall, confident man with a black belt and a smirk, demonstrate kicks that snapped like whips through the air. Ethan kept to himself, as always. But that day, something different stirred. If you believe in kindness, humility, and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness, because today's story isn't just about fighting. It's about the quiet power of respect and the courage it takes to rise again. The instructor's name was Travis Denton, a regional champion who loved the spotlight almost as much as he loved putting others down. He noticed Ethan wiping the mirrors and chuckled. "Hey, old man," he called out, his voice sharp and teasing. "You ever try throwing a punch instead of a mop?" The class erupted in laughter. Ethan looked up, offering only a polite smile. "Not for a long time," he said softly. Travis tilted his head, intrigued. "Really? You train somewhere?" Ethan hesitated, eyes drifting for a second, a flash of memory, the blur of a dojo, the sound of a referee's whistle, and his young daughter, Maya, cheering from the bleachers before everything fell apart. "Used to," he said finally. "A lifetime ago." That single phrase, quiet and unassuming, only fueled Travis's ego. "Tell you what," the instructor said, clapping his hands. "Why don't we have a little fun? You and me, light sparring. Nothing serious." The students began to whisper, half amused, half curious. The janitor versus the black belt. It sounded like a joke. Ethan tried to decline. "I'm just here to clean, sir." But Travis pushed. "Come on, man. You scared? It's just for fun." The word fun felt heavy, almost cruel. Ethan sighed, setting his mop aside. "All right," he said, his tone calm but unreadable. "For fun." The gym quieted as he stepped onto the mat. Travis's students circled around, phones ready to record. Ethan wore no gloves, no GI, just his work uniform, the name patch, E. Cole, stitched over his chest. His boots squeaked faintly against the mat. "Ready." Travis grinned, bouncing lightly. Ethan nodded once. The black belt lunged first, throwing a playful jab meant to humiliate, not harm, but before anyone could blink, Ethan shifted. His body flowed like water, precise and effortless. He sidestepped, pivoted, and in one clean motion, used Travis's momentum to sweep him gently to the ground. The room froze. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't aggressive. But it was perfect. The kind of movement that only comes from deep experience, or deep pain. Travis laughed it off, brushing his ego off the mat. Lucky shot. He came again, this time faster, sharper. A flurry of strikes. Ethan moved with grace that didn't seem possible for a janitor in worn-out shoes. Each block was minimal, efficient, like muscle memory waking from a long sleep. Then, when Travis overextended on a spinning kick, Ethan caught his leg and stopped him mid-air, holding him steady before gently setting him down again. Silence. The laughter had died. Even the phones had lowered. Travis's smirk faded. He looked at Ethan, confusion flickering across his face. Who are you?" Ethan stepped back, breathing steady. "Nobody," he said. "Just a dad who used to fight for a living." After class, the students whispered in awe. One of them, a young woman named Renee, approached Ethan shyly. "You weren't just some local fighter, were you?" she asked. Ethan smiled faintly. "Once upon a time," he said. That night, after the gym emptied, Ethan stayed late to finish mopping. The room was quiet again, except for the hum of the fluorescent lights. He looked at his reflection in the mirror, a face older than he remembered, tired eyes framed by lines of loss. On the bench sat a photo of Maya, smiling in her school uniform. Years ago, Ethan had been a professional martial artist. A national champion. His career had ended abruptly when his wife, Sarah, passed away after a long illness. Maya was only 6. Ethan quit everything to raise her, taking any job he could find. The trophies gathered dust in a cardboard box somewhere, relics of a life traded for love. The next morning, when Ethan arrived at the gym, Travis was already there. He approached quietly, humility replacing the arrogance from the day before. "Mr. Cole," he said, "I owe you an apology." Ethan shook his head. "You don't owe me anything. It was just a spar." But Travis insisted. "That wasn't sparring. That was a lesson." He paused, glancing at the students who were filing in. "Would you, maybe consider teaching a few classes here? I think they could learn a lot from you." Ethan froze, mop in hand. "Teach?" "Yes," Travis said. "Not about fighting. About control. About respect." Ethan's first instinct was to refuse. He couldn't risk attention, couldn't reopen wounds he'd buried years ago. But that evening, as he picked up Maya from her after-school program, she told him about her classmates joining karate lessons. Her eyes sparkled as she asked, "Daddy, did you really used to be a fighter?" Ethan smiled softly. "Yeah, a long time ago." "Do you think you could teach me?" she asked, her voice hopeful. That night, Ethan sat awake, the gym's offer echoing in his mind. He realized maybe life was giving him one more chance, not to reclaim his past, but to share what it had taught him. The following week, he accepted Travis's offer. Word spread quickly about the humble janitor who'd outclassed the black belt. Curious students flocked to his first class. Ethan didn't wear a uniform or a belt, just a plain t-shirt and the same calm expression. "Before you learn to fight," he began, "you must learn to breathe. Before you punch, you must learn to listen. Martial arts isn't about beating others, it's about mastering yourself." The class watched in awe as he demonstrated simple movements with incredible control. Every strike, every stance carried depth, years of experience and sacrifice behind it. Travis watched from the sidelines, humbled. He realized what Ethan possessed wasn't just skill, it was grace. The kind that comes only from enduring life's hardest blows and still standing tall. Weeks passed, and the gym began to change. The atmosphere softened. Students became more disciplined, more respectful. Ethan's presence seemed to quiet even the most boastful egos. Travis himself started training under him privately, learning to let go of pride and rediscover humility. Meanwhile, Maya began joining her father's evening classes. Seeing her mimic his movements filled Ethan's heart with something he hadn't felt in years, hope. He'd lost so much, but in that gym, surrounded by laughter and learning, he felt like he was finally finding his way back. One day, during an open sparring session, a visiting fighter, a muscular kickboxer, scoffed at the gentle old man leading the class. "This guy. He's your sensei," he mocked. "Let's see what he's got." The students looked uneasy, but Ethan only smiled. "We can spar," he said softly. The visitor attacked hard, quick, powerful, but reckless. Ethan moved with the same effortless flow, every motion deliberate and calm. Within seconds, he had the man off balance, using his own force to bring him down, not violently, but gracefully, as though helping him fall. When the fighter stood, breathing hard, Ethan extended a hand. "You fight well," he said. "But remember, strength means nothing without kindness." The gym erupted in applause. The visitor bowed, humbled. And Travis, watching from the side, felt a lump form in his throat. That evening, as Ethan packed up, Travis approached him again. "You've changed this place," he said quietly. "You've changed me." Ethan smiled, tired but peaceful. "No," he said. "You all just remembered what martial arts was always meant to be." Outside, the sun was setting. Maya ran up, wrapping her small arms around his waist. "Daddy," she said, "I think Mom would be really proud of you." Ethan's eyes shimmered. He knelt, pulling her close. "I hope so, sweetheart." For the first time in years, he felt whole, not because he'd won a fight, but because he'd rediscovered his purpose. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to